Welcome to the podcast, hablemos de lo nuevo. 40Gs, G's que pasen el terreno. Vienen jugadores y se van, traiga lo nuevo. A huevo. Doesn't matter where you from, Salvador, Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua. Todo mi latino, come and listen for an hour. TikTok, que traemos lo que quiere. Todo lo que pasa dentro y fuera de las redes. Really? You don't know what it is. Reportamos con la lupa what we see at the digs. En las buenas y en las malas yo diré la verdad. Si cometen un error o tienen habilidad, la calidad del rival cuando viene a jugar. Facts. Yo no me muerdo la lengua. Got love for the crest in the city I came from. Los campeones de campeones y con copas mi race. Donde empezamos el programa, soy la voz de LA One. Soy la voz de LA One. Love. Yeah.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and thank you once again for joining us here on another quick hitter episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast that's always made with love for you, all you LA Galaxy fans, and all you La Cuna Galaxians, wherever you may be enjoying this festive weekend. As usual, I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Jalon, aka at El Escudero de LA, and you can find me at that tag on all the socials, and you can find all my written work at Last Word on Sports. Of course, I have my co-host with me as always, Ananda Kirana, aka El Gitano Perdido, El Yerno Guapo. Hey, Ananda, I hear there's a big game that happened today.
There is a big game that happened today, and it's the football that is recognized around the world and not the other pigskin football, as they would say here in the local country that we are living in. So, yeah, I think that's the game you're talking about, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm speaking of the game
Football.
at the CVI. Exactly.
You're exactly. There you go.
I'm definitely not talking about any other game because really, when the Galaxy plays, no other game really matters. So, it's LA Galaxy game day. You and I were there at the CVI, but
We were.
First off, before we go any further, I saw you today already, so I know how you're doing, but the folks out there don't. So let us know how you're feeling.
I'm feeling good, man. I had other than the Galaxy, which we'll talk about in a second. Of course, it has to be the Galaxy. Always has to be the Galaxy. La Tóxica never fails me. Siempre. I had a good morning this morning, as you know, the 6-0 drubbing of the Hammers because they get hammered everywhere they go. That was nice to see. And so it's a decent sporting weekend. Of course, we'll talk about it in a second too. Had a lot of fun yesterday, mixing it up with the G community at the soccer golf tournament, even though I was absolutely exhausted. If you asked me this yesterday, same question, I would have been like, dude, I was absolutely wrecked. Like, I didn't know it took that much out of you. That 18 holes it is golf, right? So I should have probably been smarter and expected it. But no, man, I'm good. I love doing these instant reactions because we only have a couple hours. Like you and I probably had the drive home to think about this. And so our thoughts are going to be raw. And I think that's good for the audience. I think our listeners are probably feeling the same way, even if you guys are listening to this the next day or 2 days after. I think this will be good. And that's why we started doing these. So I'm hoping you guys are liking this and sort of giving us feedback on if it's working for you guys or not. But no, man, I'm good. How are you feeling at the moment? Are you tired from the drive?
Well, you guys probably don't know. Ananda knows, but I've been dealing with that ick all week. It's been about a week now, and I'm just starting to get on the mend. And I feel like I was on the mend yesterday as well. But then, of course, we were out on the green all day, like you mentioned. So I'm almost there, almost 100, but not quite. I'm just, I would say that I'm like 80%, just like Greg Vanny told me about Jalen earlier, 80%, but just not over that hill yet. So, but yeah, like I said, we were out on the green all day. Thank you to Manny and the Outlaws for inviting us out and giving us a spot there
Shout
to be
out.
able to participate with all the rest of the G community that was out there, and there was a gang of you out there. So shout out to everyone that went out and had a good time.
Yeah.
The Outlaws were celebrating their 5th anniversary, and what a way to do it. It was a lovely event. Everybody had great time. People were dressed up. I mean, shout out to the Nag boys. They had their look down with the little ascot hats and the shorts and the golf socks and everything like
And
that.
they went live right after with the get up. It was pretty awesome. And I hope you boys won the best dress. I'm pretty sure they did. I mean,
I hope they did. They were out there. We had some other G's out there that were rolling around in golf carts. I mean, really, it's like you said, we should have known. Like, I mean, 18 holes, we should have known to prepare better. But we should have. I mean, we just went out there with like backpacks and like maybe like a drink each, and really we should have gone out there with like a cooler and food
Un
and
carrito. Yeah, exactly.
we just didn't. We weren't prepared. And then again,
But now we know.
I've been last week, so really like I was like really going through it towards the end, and I think you saw me like towards the end, kind of like
you were gassed, you're out, yeah,
down, like especially when we got to like the front, and not only that, but we did our last hole, and then we had to walk like like a mile towards the front. So it's like, yeah, I was definitely gassed. I definitely I was telling Professor Alex earlier, shout out, that maybe if I hadn't gone out, I might be like 100% today. But then if I hadn't got out, I wouldn't have had all the good memories of hanging out with you guys and like all the camaraderie that happened, and just seeing everybody be silly and dance and get excited about the hole-in-ones that happened, because there were a couple hole-in-ones, and then getting mad when they overshot, myself included. So it was a great event, and again, Outlaws, they outdid themselves. I mean, they know how to put on a party. Happy 5th year anniversary. Long may they be around. I can't wait till 10 happens and 15 and 20 happens. So hopefully, we're here to see that. So thanks again to those guys for having us out, and I'm looking forward to the next event, whenever that is, because I know Manny said that this is going to be something that happens, if not every year, pretty frequently. So look out for the next one. It is a great time. Just before this event happened, the foot golf happened. Of course, G's Run LA went out and got together again, and so that's another great way for you guys to get involved in the G's community. So while we're on some light shout outs and stuff like that, we're not going to get too crazy into them, because I know Ananda always, he's like, hey, these are quick hitters, no crazy shout outs, don't digress, and now I'm digressing, but as long as I don't digress too much, I don't think he'll hit me too hard with the chains later. So anyway, happy birthday to Gabriel Peck, which is his birthday today. Feliz aniversario. And Mauricio Cuevas, he had a birthday yesterday. So if you're listening to this at the time of the recording, yes, it is Sunday. So happy birthday to Gabriel Peck today on Sunday. Mauricio's was on Saturday. And so happy birthday to them too. Hopefully, I know Mauricio didn't get a good birthday present with the loss today, but hopefully by the time Gabriel Peck gets here, he'll get that win, and he'll get that present. And then also really quick, wanted to say a quick hello to Alvaro, who came up at the CVI, and he said hello to us, him and his lady, and told us that he has a good time listening to the pod. So thank you so much. Thank you to all of you guys that have continued to listen to the pod and support. We definitely appreciate it. If you do see us anywhere, go ahead and come out and get that tchotchke. We do have those stickers on deck now. So whenever you're around, get that tchotchke. Let us know, hey, I haven't gotten my sticker. Let me have it. And we got you. So, Ananda, that's pretty much it. See, I kept it brief.
Yeah, you kept it brief. Yeah. So before we talk in the game, though, real quick, just housekeeping as we always do, and then we'll talk about the react to the match. But you guys can always, first you guys can always follow Block Me or Stalk Me at Ananda Galaxiana. It's great now that you guys, so we'll post this on YouTube after. So you guys that are on YouTube, that are the viewers on YouTube, you will be able to see our sort of screen names there and tags. And I feel like I'm on AIM again. Robert, screen names, like there you go. So with your ats, and you can see that Robert's muted. It's like it's great. Like you can see like when we purposely don't talk and all that good stuff. So that's cool. You guys can always, of course, find us on other social platforms at Ananda Galaxiana, or sorry, at La Cuna Galaxiana. I was so excited. I want to say my name twice. At La Cuna Galaxiana. And then, of course, you guys can find us for right now on all of your audio only dispensers. That's Spotify, Apple, even Amazon Music now, if you guys are into that new fad. As well as, again, hopefully we'll be posting this video on YouTube. This is our first sort of foray into that. I want to start off a little light with a little reaction video and see how you guys dig it. So hopefully you guys do. And put it in the comments. We're going to post this. Definitely put in the comments what you guys think. We had some great feedback, actually, Robert, from a user. I can't remember what his name is, but whoever you are, you know who you are. To put markers, sort of like chapter markers in our pod so that they know where to navigate. I think that's a great idea. So Engineer Ananda will be on that. We'll be on that as soon as possible. And of course, Robert, antes de olvidarme, como siempre, buenos días, tardes o noches. Y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana.
There it is.
How should we call this? La Cuna Galaxianita? La Cunita Galaxiana? It's like a little mini pod, you know?
La Cunita.
La Cunita. La Cunita.
Yeah, I like
A mí me
it.
gusta.
Yeah,
all right.
So officially, a quick little breakaway episode, quick reaction match. Match reaction is you know what? Hey, here's another La Cunita for you guys. So
there you go.
La Cunita for today. The Galaxy took on Austin in their next game of the CVI, and everyone was super excited about it. And it was kind of let down because the Galaxy are still winless now in preseason. They fell 3-1 to Austin. They had several chances in this match. They looked really, really good. We're the better team through 70 minutes. Arguably should have been up 2-1. After getting pegged back first by Austin, they went down early, 1-0. Gino Vivi, he ties it off of a wonderful whipped ball by Mark Delgado to the back post, and Vivi finishes it off with aplomb with a really, really nice volley into the top of the net, into the ceiling of the net. I'm not going to say roof because Scott French one time told me, "Hey, that's inaccurate. It's not the roof, it's the ceiling of the net," and he's right. I mean, the roof is the top. So, Scott French, we love
Roll
you.
with that. Yep.
Yeah. And one day, if you do listen to this, I'm still waiting for my list of movies that I need to watch. But anyway, I digress again. So anyway, Vivi hits it into the ceiling of the net to tie it up 1-1. Diego Fagundes, who's been lights out in preseason, should have made it 2-1 off of a whipped cross to himself as well, and he hits it off of the crossbar. So a couple moments later, Austin goes down, makes it 2-1, and then by the end of the match, they get a late goal. It's 3-1. So 3-1, they're still winless, but a couple positives to come from this game. Martin Cáceres made his return. He played 35 minutes. You could tell that he's just getting back to it. The legs aren't quite there yet, but they'll get there. Daniel Aguirre, he also played 35 minutes, and he also looked pretty bright. And then Diego Fagundes, Edwin Cerrillo, and I believe Maya Yoshida went a full 90. I could be wrong on Maya, but I believe they all three went a full 90. So that's really like your real quick summary of the match. But yeah, man, there's things to talk about here, things that are worrying me, and I've been saying it to you.
Well, I mean, the recap, you I don't know if you said it or maybe I missed it. Just Austin's 3 goals, man. They pumped 3 on us.
Well,
I want to talk about sort of the Galaxy highlights. Yeah. Well,
I did. I said 3-1. Yeah. Capping it off 3-1, man.
Yeah. But so how do you want to get into how do you want to break this down? Where do you want to start first?
Well, first, I think you'll know where I'm going with this, but this is second match that the Galaxy give up 3 goals. And just brass tacks, it is what it is. The defense is still a worry. You know, I've been saying it. I've been saying it to Ananda privately on the pod. I've been saying it to Professor Alex when we've spoken. You know, I've been saying it to the Liga G boys when we've been playing. I've been saying it. I feel like Paul Revere out here, like the British are coming, except the defense ain't it. And you know what I've gotten is that you're being alarmist. And how I really feel is that, like, you know what, we signed Mickey Yamane and we signed John Nelson, but other than that, it's the same back line that gave him 67 goals last year. So do I feel like I'm being alarmist? No. Now, post game, we did get a chance to speak to Greg Vanney, and he let us know that Jalen Neal is now officially out for about 6 to 8 weeks. And I did mention at the top that he said that Jalen was about 80%. He couldn't really ever get over that hill, and then they were trying to find out why. They found out that it was an abductor strain, and so yeah, so 6 to 8 weeks, no Jalen Neal. He's not going to be available for the start of the season. That definitely puts a damper on the continuity of the back line, a back line that's trying to find itself, a back line that's trying to find that togetherness and harmony, and now it's not going to happen. What should be your starting back four, we're probably not going to get that until at least, you know, a month and a half into the season. So so far in preseason, no clean sheets, and you know, again, my worries are vast on this back line, especially with the fact that you know, there was a couple moments in this match where Captain Mayoshida got caught out or was burned, and I, you know, this was just my perception, but it looked like on the couple of chances that he got burned on, he would turn around and you know, gesticulate to teammates and stuff like that. And I even let you know, Ananda, like, I don't know why he's turning around and waving his hands at his teammates, like he's the one who got burned. So I don't know. Jury's still out.
Yeah, I mean, jury's still out, but like I said, I think it's I think it's still early in preseason, but look at the reality is we do have what 2 games left after this. So, oh no, yeah, 2 games left, right? So, I mean, yeah, you have a right to be concerned because, like as I said, remember I caveated what I said last time with Greg Vanney has to ramp up and ramp up real quick, right? But here's the thing, man. Like, I feel like the score line, it was very flattering to Austin. That's my personal opinion. I felt like the first 70 minutes, okay, we gave that goal early. That was not a good goal to give up. I think there was some miscommunication there. I just took a replay at it, and there's a couple of defensive mistakes all around the team. It was team defense, which is one of the things that Greg Vanney's been working on with the team, is not just individuals, but team defense. And the team defense was not good on that goal. No one got, well, first of all, we lost the ball in the middle of the pitch, and then we did not close out on the cross. And then I think Maya thought that Giassi was onside, but he did not realize that Julian was playing him onside again. I didn't see, there's no lines or anything like that. You know, Giassi got in front of Maya, tapped it, and then the guy on the back post tapped it in. I think Julian kept him on. I'm not sure. Again, I don't know if I don't think there's VAR in these things. So it's really hard to tell. But after that, honestly, I thought we controlled the match for the most part. We'll talk about the midfield in a little bit. But you know, those 2 goals in the end, and it was unfortunate because I think it was both against the run of play. And again, these are things that will happen in a preseason. I was looking at those 2 goals again on replay as I was prepping or getting ready to jump on this pod with you. And Joe Titino made a really good observation. He said that, you know, for the first 70 minutes, other than that goal, he thought the team defense and the proper shape, which is what Greg Vanney has been working on with his team, was pretty good with, you know, most of the starters in there.
Sure.
And we were not playing with a high line or having any defensive mistakes that could be attributed to chemistry issues like when the kids played. Because remember, man, the last 20 minutes, we had a bunch of people come in there that probably aren't going to see any playing time or hardly at all. And I don't know if it was just panic or if it was just like a lack of chemistry or lack of communication, but we kind of played a little bit more risky and a little higher line. We did not control the tempo. And you know, Vanney's he's big on controlling tempo and setting the tempo. And this is actually going to be one of my points, which I think our best defense is offense. And funny enough, and I'll get into that a little bit. But the thing is, when we lose balls or when we sort of play a little more risky, it usually tends to mistakes and people rushing and things not happening. And that's what it was, man. It was a combination of that and individual brilliance and an individual mistake, really, by Cuevas on that right hand side on both of those goals. It's funny, I forgot the kid's name. I should know this, but I saw We Are Austin TV, so shout out to those guys. They actually put a highlight or a post out saying, hey, do we, what do we think about this player? He looked really good in his cameo. I think it was like 15 or 20 minutes as their left winger. And I said, man, I was at the game and you guys got a real gem, because he had Cuevas on skates, absolute skates, last 10, 15 minutes. But again, I think overall, if I take it into context, that was, to me, the run against the run of play. It's frustrating. And I know it's frustrating you, because the perception is, especially the point of view that you have, is, this Galaxy team can't keep a clean sheet. The defense is, not where it should be. And I totally get it. Like, it gives off that perception. And I don't blame you for thinking that. But again, I personally, I'm a little more balanced on the view. And as I told you before, if this is like a recurring theme, 10 games in the season, I'm going to be worried. Yes. But right now, I'm just going to keep a cool head and see how things develop. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, it's all well and good. You're right. Galaxy did control this match through 70 minutes. They were on the front foot. They looked like the better team. Only the crazy thing about soccer is that it's a 90-minute game, and not even a 90-minute game. There was a couple games last season where the Galaxy played a fantastic 90 minutes, and they got pegged back in the 95th minute. So that's the thing about soccer, is that you got to play from the first whistle to the last whistle, and they haven't been able to do that so far. Unfortunately, 2 games left in the season, and to the preseason, I don't know that we're going to see kind of like the dress rehearsal that we want to see out of the Galaxy before they take on Inter Miami. And that's just the reality of it. I mean, they just don't have the players in yet that they need. Yeah, players are working their way back into fitness. I mean, we still don't have Gaston, no day on yet. But the players that have been there, who's impressed you so far?
So for me, man, it's Cerrillo. I want to talk about Cerrillo this game. I think we have not talked about him a lot in this pod. But I'm going to talk about him now, because I feel like Cerrillo is going to have a big role to play this season, man. I really do. You saw his quality there. And I think, especially with Gaston being out, I think he's perfect to have in that position. I'm actually going to read a thread that, because I was kind of tweeting intermittently throughout the game. And, I said basically, like, on our goal, especially, it was a great goal by Gino Vivi, well placed with the instep. And I said, peach of a ball by Delgado. And shout out to our buddy Andrew, Nuestra Galaxia Futbolera, Andrew. So shout out wherever you are, man. He brought up a great point. He said the slide tackle from Cerrillo to win it back in an attacking space right after we lost it was great too. I'm a big fan of this. And then shout out at section 135. He said the most important part of that play, in my opinion. And I told him, you guys both raised really good points on the goal. It was Cerrillo, Robert, that led to that attack. He won the ball back high up the pitch. And I think that's how we're going to score a lot of our goals this season. And it's interesting, because I've been waiting to see that press or that counter press, but I haven't seen much of it. And maybe it's still early. Maybe it's still too much of a lack of fitness. I thought that was going to be a characteristic of Vanny's play this season, but I haven't seen it yet. So I don't know if I'm out of my mind, or if it's just kind of, they're still working their way into it. I'm not sure. But that was a great example of that. And it led to the goal, because we were on the front foot and we were in a period of sustained possession. So that was really good to see that, like, we converted that chance. But man, back to Cerrillo. One of the things that as I told you guys last episode, if you listen to the last little La Cunita episode after the last game, I think that's one that's going to stick, man. I like that one. I like the way that sounds. I talked about how I was going to look forward to closely how we're going to break out of certain presses. And man, Cerrillo is such a good technician on the ball that he's vital now to get out of that press. And I think his decision making is a lot better this year. I think he's a lot more confident on the ball. You could just see it, man. Like little turns to get out of pressure, scanning left, right, and then scanning again before he receives the ball, so he knows where to take his first touch. Just those little things, I think, is a big step up for him this year, and I think that'll allow him to play either alongside Gaston or in place of Gaston in the case of where we are now, where he's injured. And honestly, man, I'm going to argue that he is the closest that we have to a destroyer. He's really the only guy. Gaston does it too, but he does it more like positionally. But Cerrillo for me is he's going to be the closest to that archetype that we have. He's not a natural tackler, but he does get stuck in, and he's the most athletic, and he gets around the pitch the most. So he's going to be, for all those reasons, man, he's going to be very, very important this season. And I think he's going to earn his stripes this season.
And just kind of to piggyback on that, I'm glad you said Cerrillo, because I think Cerrillo is going to be as effective as my pick to highlight, Delgado, is going to allow him to be, because during this match, I mean, Greg said this before, that Mark Delgado is the metronome of this team, just one of the unsung heroes of this team. And today, I kind of saw that. There's been a couple times in the past offseason where I've been like, Mark Delgado is set to lose his starting spot. Based on today's performance, I walk it back. I mean, he showed really, really well. He was everywhere. I mean, I saw him on the back line, popping up on the wings, combining with Julian Aude, combining with Mal Cuevas. And the biggest part of this is that, he started in that midfield with Cerrillo and Aguirre, and they were both looking to him so much to keep them organized and keep them moving the way they should. And as you should, as a veteran leader on this team. But the way they seek him out and they look for him and look to see where they should be. Again, Cerrillo will be as successful as Delgado allows him to be. So and for as much as Cerrillo picks up from Delgado, because let's be honest. I mean, the midfield three will most likely be Ricky, Mark Delgado, and Gaston Brugman. Unless one of those guys goes down injured, in which case, Aguirre or Cerrillo come in. So, it's really going to be one of those things that when Cerrillo's not on the pitch, he's got to be learning from Mark Delgado and from Gaston Brugman to find out how to occupy those spaces, how to take up good positions so they can advance the ball. So, for as much as, Cerrillo is that athletic player, like you said, that archetype destroyer, quote unquote, Delgado is really going to allow him to be successful or not successful. And if he continues to play like he's playing, then there's really no need to bring in that other midfielder that I've kind of been advocating for.
Yeah, well, so provided everyone's healthy, I'm actually seeing the opposite view of this, which is I actually think Cerrillo is going to unlock Brugman. I've told you before, man. I think Brugman, we know he's good in a double pivot because we saw it last year when we played, with Rousset and some of those other guys. But the other thing is, I'd love to see Brugman pushed up in that number 8 position and have Cerrillo be the holding. And I think there's going to be times, certain game states, certain oppositions where that's going to be allowed. And I think one of the things that I didn't talk about Cerrillo, which I loved, man, and I called it out to you because you and I were sitting together for maybe like 20, 30 minutes of the first half. You saw sort of like that diagonal ball to the right-hand side. Like it was open every time, and he would hit it. And he has a beautiful lofted ball. I'm pretty sure he's got long ball pass plus attribute on FIFA or whatever. Because he's good with that diagonal, man. And again, you figure you got Ricky and Gaston not only doing line breaking pass, but key passes to get our forwards in front of goal, right? And then you've got Cerrillo sort of scanning, surveying the midfield, winning tackles when he needs to. So I see the opposite of time, man. I think Cerrillo is actually going to unlock Brugman whenever he gets fit and give Mark because to me, Mark, the only thing that he's missing for me is that unlock pass, that last pass in the final third. He's not that player. So for me, if you put him in the attacking 8, we've talked about this a little bit last year. I mentioned it last year where he's a great metronome, but he always plays the safe pass. He doesn't play the risky one. He always plays the safe one. So that's the only thing for me, man, is I think Cerrillo is going to unlock Brugman. But yeah, I mean, hey, this is a good problem to have. And so I go back to your point around, I don't think we're ready, man. I think we have this midfield depth. Well, I think we have a little bit more than you think. That's all I'll say about that.
We have a little bit more than we think, but, and this leads me to my last and final point here on this La Cunita. Reinforcements are needed. There is a point a couple weeks ago where we got to ask Will Kuntz how he felt about the DP situation. He said they felt good on one, which was Gabriel Peck, which got done, and they were in a good way on another. That one's not done yet. Today I had the opportunity to ask Greg Vanney about that, and he said, I asked him if he was still optimistic that was the case, that they would have somebody in by the 25th, and he said that basically the next couple of days are going to dictate what's going to happen. Basically, like if all goes well in the next couple of days, then yes, they should have somebody in by the 25th, and it's the player they want, and everyone's happy. He said that if things go south in the next couple of days, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get people in, especially with visas and stuff like that. So, and we're already seeing that with Gabriel Peck, because Gabriel Peck is now set to join the Galaxy because his Brazil side was knocked out. Well, they played their last match in the South American qualifying tournament today. They were beaten by Argentina, so they will not be going to the Olympics. But that just means Gabriel Peck has gone from a Brazilian long season where he played 50 plus games into a very emotional South American qualifying tournament, and especially the last match against your big rival, into directly a long MLS season. So I did ask Greg Vanney about that as well. Like, how do you manage that? And it, Greg obviously says, they're going to have to manage, the legs and the minutes and stuff like that, especially initially, but as well, like how do you get up to speed with his teammates immediately, so, but the good thing is that they do have a plan. They do expect him in by next weekend. He's not going to make the CVI tournament, but they do expect him in by next weekend. But that still leaves, another DP. That still leaves Gaston yet to see the field. That still leaves Dayon still to see the field, and that still leaves a bunch of TAM money that's been unspent to try to reinforce the team elsewhere. So, that's my thing right now, is that I do think that the team is incomplete, and I do think the team needs those reinforcements. I mean, they're going to get them in the way of bodies coming back, but they do need one or two more, especially that DP. Ooh, you are so muted. Ooh,
I love this. Love it. And you get to see all our mess ups live, so this is great. But yeah, no, I think the DP one's really important. That's Captain Obvious here. And hopefully we get that sorted. But the one thing I heard, and I can't remember if it was Vanney or Will Kuntz talking about this, but and I agree with their sentiment. And again, this is not like pandering to what the executives are saying, but I thought this even before they said it, which is I'd rather us make the right signing and the correct signing, and I'd rather have like 1 month of suffering or 1 month and a half of suffering versus 5 years of suffering, which is what we've done in the last 10 years, right? And I don't want to be. Yeah.
What else would they say at this point? Like, like that's obviously you haven't brought the player in that you thought you were going to bring in, or hasn't gotten here yet. So what else are you going to say? Like, yeah, we just got to be patient, and we got to make the right signing, not the right now signing, So, but I mean, it does lead to other conversations. Like, for as much as we've been loving Will Kuntz's work, I mean, there are already people out there that are saying that he's just not getting it done.
Well, yeah. Again, I can't change your mind, or I can't say anything like directly to
that.
I didn't say me. I know. Yeah, not you specifically, but and everyone's entitled to opinion, obviously. But again, I'm going to go back to I'd rather make the right signing, because I've seen what the right now signing looks like, and that would be 3 years of complete shambles from Douglas Costa. Or I would say 2.5. Let's be fair to him, and I would say like 1 good season out of Chicha.
Don't be fair to him at all.
I'll give him 6 months. I'll give Doug 6 months. I won't give Douglas a time of day at all. But I just go back to that point, man. And, it's unfortunately we were left in a situation where we had a lot of work to do. And I Will Kuntz brought up a really good point too when he did the live show with the Galaxy, which I think you and I had nodded about this, which is, you know, uh, for the Paintsil deal specifically, he's like, you know what, we have to keep our conversations in different pots until things close, and you've got to be
Right.
patient. You can't silo
Right.
yourself in one conversation. So again, these deals are not easy to do. Even Josh
No.
jokingly said it's hard to give $10 million away in in today's transfer market. Huh? And here's the other thing, man. You got to look at what the other teams are doing. Yes, there's teams like Colorado that got their business done early, and well done to you guys. But then there's other teams like even Dallas. Like Dallas just recently made their signing of Musa, right? So these deals are not easy. I mean, we got one over the line. Imagine doing two. I'm trying to think of another team right now that had to put in two DP signings in. I want to say Colorado maybe. But if you look around the league, I don't know if everyone has their signings in already. Yes, I understand we're the Galaxy. We shouldn't compare ourselves to everyone else. Yes, we're the gold star team. We're the 5-star team, but we have not been the 5-star team lately. So again, I'm going to take that all into context, and I'm going to shut it until I'm going to hit the panic button, which I'm not right now. And that's just where I am.
Well, I'm not hitting the panic button yet either, but there definitely needs to be work done. One little caveat to everything I've said is that you've said we got to get the right signing. It's these signings that have been taking a little bit, like the a la Joseph Paintsil, and you know how much I want him to come. But at this point, if you're having this much trouble convincing him, I mean, I'm just gonna say it as plainly as I can. F him. If you don't want to come, don't come. Like,
but Robert, do you from your reporting, do you know exactly if it's an issue with salary? Is it player negotiations or is it club negotiations? My understanding was it's the fee. The fee is the holdup.
No, the fee is not the holdup. I mean, my understanding of the timeline is that the Galaxy paid the buyout clause, which was at around $8.5 million, and then they were negotiating with the player, and they were having trouble getting that negotiation over the line. While they were negotiating with the player, the contractor, i.e. the buyout clause, expired. So then they had to go back and renegotiate with the club, if I'm understanding everything correctly. So while they're still negotiating with the player, they have to go back and renegotiate a fee with the club because the original buyout clause is now expired. So now we don't know which is the holdup. Is it with the negotiations with the club? Is it negotiations with the player? But again, they could have gotten the signing over the line if the player had been like, yes, I'm ready to go. Let's do this move now. And if he's not, and if he's really dragging his feet this hard about it, and we saw in the comments, it's like, it seemed like a backhanded kind of like compliment, like, if these things happen, or I don't know, remember exactly the quote, but he said, if a team comes in for you, you have to accept it. He didn't get his move to the Premiership that he wanted. No other team came in from the Premiership. So then he was like, okay, cool. This other team came in for me. Like, you accept it. I mean, do I really want a player that's like, I guess? No. So again, if he's dragging his feet this hard, F him. Like, we want somebody that's going to be here and that's going to be fighting for the badge.
I'm just not convinced that's like, because again, we don't know the full story until like after the fact. But here's the thing, you got to think about him too, right? He probably has a family. I don't know if he has kids. He probably has a kid. Moving your whole family from Belgium to the States while you're in AFCON, while you're competing in a major tournament, that's not easy. You're focused on AFCON, bro. Like, you're 100% focused on the team.
He's been back in Belgium now for like 3 weeks.
But that was, I think, again, I don't know the timeline, but that had to have happened like either after or during. But again, he was focused on a major tournament, and it's like we've seen it in the summer
drop
too.
Singles, but he doesn't have time to.
Hey, he probably recorded that. You probably recorded that like in the studio, like for the last year. But anyways,
look, man, and maybe I'm just still sick and catty, but like, look, you have time to drop singles. You have time to put X posts up and all this other stuff. You have time to suit up for your current team. I mean, if he really wanted to come, he would be like, you know what, get this done, team, or agent, or sew up these negotiations, gang, because I want to move. And it just doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like the player's like that on fire to come. And again, as much as I want him here, and as much as I love his song, you know what? If you don't want to be here, you know what? F you, man.
Yeah.
We're like, I mean, this is the LA Galaxy. You know, like we shouldn't have to beg anybody. I mean, Beckham came here, Robbie Keane came here, Zlatan came here. JP, you're not bigger than any of those three. So, you know, like at this point, you know, if you're gonna come and come with a happy heart and come ready to fight for the badge. If not, stay your ass in Belgium.
Well, I'm gonna love to see your reaction if he does sign for the Galaxy. So let's.
No, and
I would love to see your reaction.
if he signs, I'm gonna let him know. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I was really skeptical you were gonna come, and I even said like, hey, if you're not gonna come, stay your ass there. And I
Yep.
mean,
Well, let's
if
see.
that's what it's gonna be like, look, again, this is the LA Galaxy. They shouldn't be having to beg anybody to come. That's his bottom line.
I mean, it is what it is. We'll see how the transfer saga plays out, but that's why we had plan B, C, D, and F. I'm sure we've got another name that we haven't even heard about, just in case this falls through.
Sosa's
But
back on the rumors. I
look,
mean, we brought you the Bukhari stuff as well. That
the
when
fact
got
that
shut down.
But the fact that this hasn't gone away, and even today, Tommy Bogert came on Corner of the Galaxy, and you know he didn't deny it,
Right.
and you know neither did Will Kuntz. So again, we don't know the whole story. So let's see, man. Let's just. I think maybe I'm just like the calming presence here. I have no idea. I feel like I'm never this optimistic or calm, but like I'm just like, all
Yeah,
right,
it's because I'm
let's
sick. I'm just being a
probably.
cat because I'm sick, man. Like I like I've been telling you, like, you know, I haven't been able to, like, you know, fully enjoy life the way I want to just because I've been sick. So you know, maybe it's just all the negativity coming out of me. But since you mentioned Tom, I want to go ahead and give Tom a shout out. We got to meet him today and say hello to him. Super nice guy. The mustache is as magnificent in person as it is on
It
the
is.
interwebs. And so, yeah, it was great to meet you. Standing invitation. I know you told us earlier today, like, hey, you'd be down. So whenever you want to come on, and we'll talk about some more Galaxy soccer and your mustache and stuff like that. But that's what it is. Cuna Galaxians. That's what we saw from today's game. Again, I mean, I'm kind of catty about it at it all because you know, I see that there's like 2 weeks left and not even 2 weeks, like a week, or is it 2 weeks? It's 2 weeks. Yeah, 2
2 weeks, 25th exactly.
Oh
to
yeah,
the day.
2 weeks to the day, and I still see the same club that left 2023 behind. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. One last thing I just wanted to add on the sort of the reinforcements and the time to panic thing. You got to remember, man. I remember I told you this last season. The real sort of true test of a team and how you know if they're progressing or just sort of like their quality level is through the spine, right? If you look at our spine right now, we're missing people, whether it's through injury or maybe to your point, to reinforcements. And I'm open to that. And I didn't talk about this one, but you know, I know we've got we're trying to keep it La Cunita as much as possible. But we're still missing a center forward, whether that's Dayon, because Miguel Berry just wasn't cutting it today. You know, he's still trying to integrating himself. No center forward play whatsoever. So we're missing a forward. We're missing Ricky, who's our attacking midfielder. We're missing Gaston, who's our main DM. He's our tempo setter. And yes, we have Maya, but unfortunately we have an injured Jalon, right? I look at center backs as a partnership. And then whoever, again, goalkeeper roulette in the back. So if you look at the spine of this team, man, we are missing pieces. And
yeah, I mean, I guess based on that, you're right. The spine isn't there yet.
But okay, now I'm going to see your point a little bit, but it's 14 days to the season and we don't have a spine yet, right? So that is alarming. And this is my point about like ramping stuff up. So hoping that in these next 2 games, like we better see Dayon, we better see Ricky, and we better see Gaston. Because otherwise, if we don't see them before Coachella, or before the tournament's over, I'm gonna be nervous, and I'm gonna see your point. I mean, like the spine is not there. Like, where is it? You know, forget about Peck, forget about the wingers for a second, because those are sort of ancillary pieces like that's gonna bolster our attack. The spine, man, you got to get the spine right before anything else. So that's my last point on that one.
Well, Cuna Galaxians, that's what it is. The Galaxy do fall 3-1 in their latest match of the CVI tournament to Austin FC. They tied it up 1-1 through Gino Vivi and let in 2 second-half goals to lose 3-1 and are still winless here in preseason. 2 weeks before the start of the season against Inter Miami and against Leo Messi. But, you know, we're going to be here to bring you through the last couple games of preseason and up until that first game of the season. So, keep it locked here with us. And Ananda already let you know where to find us at Cuna Galaxiana. Of course, if you are so inclined, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We are starting to get out there, hopefully soon. And, even before we go live for the first time, you go ahead and subscribe. We would really appreciate it. That's youtube.com / at Cuna Galaxiana. And, go ahead and subscribe and we'll give you a cookie. Whenever we can find you. So,
definitely slap. At least a slap.
Yeah.
At least a slap.
Or, I meant to say tchotchke, not cookie. So yeah, we'll give you a tchotchke. So,
There you go.
yeah. Ananda, anything to add before we get out of here?
No, man. Big week ahead of us, and we'll see how it goes. But hopefully, you guys enjoyed this little mini episode, La Cunita. And Rob, sign us off.
Well, before we get out of here, I just want to say happy Valentine's Day to all the G's out there. Before,
Yep.
I'm not sure if we're going to listen to, if you guys are going to hear us before Valentine's Day is over. So whatever you're doing, whoever you're spending it with, we hope it's special. If you are seeing the Galaxy on the 14th, which is Valentine's Day, Wednesday, they have another match against New York. Then, I hope they give you that best Valentine's Day and they get their first win of the preseason. But until we speak to you again, I'm Rob Jalon. My co-host is Ananda Kirana. You've been listening to Cuna Galaxiana, the La Cunita version. And stick it with us here, guys. We're going to bring you some more from preseason. We're going to bring you some more before the season starts here. So you guys know where to find us. Come find us at the CVI if you see us. We would love to meet you. And until next time, thanks for listening. G's up.